Welcome again. I'm at the halfway point on a Nikkormat, which was one of the first cameras I ever owned. I bought it in Germany in a place called Baden-Baden back in, I'm guessing 69. And I was thrilled. Whole shop full of cameras there in the base. And I made a special trip to Baden-Baden and bought my first Nikkormat, first 35 millimeter I've ever owned. So when I work on one, and they're kind of special to me. Most of these videos would only be of interest to people who are into film cameras. I realize that. But I repair for a living, and I enjoy showing them. And my voice is about to go, so I'll try to make it through this video. Okay, let's get started. What should we start with? Nice and clean. I love a clean camera. This Nikkormat was very clean. Okay, set that aside. Top cover. All right, top cover. This right here is the meter needle that you'll see here in a minute. Over here is the counter. Nice and clean. Nikon, Japan. They make such good cameras. Nice and clean inside too. The owner took care of this. Excellent. Okay, set it down. What should we look at next? Base plate, kind of boring, but look at it. No scratches, no dents. Isn't that nice? Again, the owner took care of it. Maybe he kept it in a case. All right, let's go on to something else here. How about the camera body? I made a video a few days ago on installing this very same shutter in the camera, but that's all I showed. I wasn't through with the camera. I wasn't at the halfway point. Putting the shutter into the camera was part of getting to the halfway point. After I got through with installing the shutter, I had to do other things to the camera. Let's see if it'll focus close. I've got a macro on there. Yeah, it's doing a great job. Sony doesn't have many macro lenses, so I have to do with two of them actually. And one I don't much like. It doesn't focus very well. The one that I'm working with now is the best one. And on the back, for those that care, this track right here, I foamed it. That's always a pain. You got to take out the old foam and put it in right. The amateurs just throw it in there. Sometimes they just use glue. There's a professional foam that you can buy that has an adhesive on the back. And you can't just shove it in there either. It has to be cut to the right size and laid in there very carefully to look right. Here on the end you can see, if I can get the light right, the foam is replaced where it meets the door. On most cameras, that's how you check the foam on these film cameras, is the foam at the door will tell you. This is just paper I put over it to protect the shutter so I don't actually damage it while I'm working. Okay. Oh, one last thing. This right here on top of the shutter, this is the actual shutter. This right here controls the speeds. When you're adjusting the camera, this wheel turns, and the wheel is will set at different speeds. Like this over here is bulb, that's 1 second. This up here is 1,000th of a second. But it's mechanical, all mechanical. Nothing digital about this. It'll still be going after all this digital junk is in the landfill. That's if there's somebody like me around to service it every 10 years or so. Okay, let's move on. All right, mirror cage. Mechanical cameras, generally the mirror cage didn't have much on it. On the electronic cameras, they wrap the electronics around the mirror cage. The reason the front is all missing here is because on this particular camera, what they did, bring these up here, is these rings, there's a lot of them here, have a resistor, ring resistor and contacts. And as you turn the ring around, it changes the resistance and that controls your meter. Kind of a strange system. You can see the speeds there. That this hooked up to the shutter when it's pressed in there and changes. That wheel I showed you on the shutter where I was changing it to like 1,001 seconds. This wheel here is what turns that. And getting it all back together, oh God. Some days it's hard. It's one thing I don't like about working on Nikkormats is all these rings. You've got to get all these rings together and hold them very carefully and push them onto the front and just hope everything fits. And if it doesn't, you get to take it all out, start over again. Mirror, of course. Lens release here. The screen and the glass are missing because you have to take this cage out of the mirror cage, because between it and the body is foam, and the foam goes bad. So you got to pull this out, remove the foam, put foam in. The foam is for dust and for light, and it comes, the foam or the dust and the light come in through the front here when the lens is off, and it just makes for more work, a lot more work. But it's nice and clean now, which is a good feeling. I've been doing this 40 years and I still enjoy it. If the camera is not kicking my ass, that is. Which happens occasionally. The meter goes right here through that little hole there. Very simple meter. Okay, let's look at this meter. Where is it at? I'll find it here. A second, there it is. Here's the meter. As you're looking down through the top cover, you'll see a circle and a needle, and that's it. That's about as simple as you can get in these old mechanical cameras. That needle needs to be dead center of that circle for your exposure. You change your speeds and your f-stops, your meter, and that needle moves around in there, and you've got to get it dead center. Of course, you've got to get your speeds right. You want to stay above 30. And f-stops can go as low as the lens will go or as high, but a very simple system. And all those resistors in the front simply go to this one little meter. I've got a digital camera, and it's got pages and pages of settings you have to set to take a picture. Of course, you can just put it on program and shoot, but still, it amazes me that back when this was being sold, and I bought it back in probably '69, the cameras were so simple. All I had to do was get that needle in the center of that circle and shoot, and I was ready to go. Of course, if you wanted to vary, you had to know a little bit about photography, but it was so simple back then. Analog, superior. All right, let's put that away. What else is there? What else is there? I think that's about everything. Top cover, we've looked at the mirror cage, looked at the body, looked at, okay, well, a few more things. This right here is the viewfinder that you look through, well, the glass anyway. And what you're looking at is a circuit. This is the whole camera circuit, a few resistors, some solder joints. Can you imagine? So simple. In the center there, you can, on the left and right, you can see two circles. Those are photocells. In the day, that was considered high tech. Beautiful. So simple. Last forever. Okay, put that away. Okay, prism. I had to take out the prism, of course, to work on that mirror cage. Still very clean. Mirror coating's holding up good, which is not true of all cameras. On the Olympuses, I have to replace the prisms nearly every time. Not on the Nikkormats. They're holding up well. All right, looks like my voice made it through the video. Later,